views and opinions of any of the guests of After Hours AM are not necessarily the views and opinions of After Hours AM, its hosts, its staff, or any of its affiliates.
Welcome to the After Hours program.
Are you ready?
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Now broadcasting live from the After Hours AM studio, Joel Sturgis.
Welcome to After Hours AM. I'm your host, Joel Sturgis. Right along with me is Mr. Michael O'Neill. Sorry about that, Mike. I forgot. I'm just going to announce it. It's just a little bit smoother that way. You know, it was brought to my attention actually just a little bit ago by a texter that they're listening to a past episode. You're not in the intro. And I will tell you why Mike's not in the intro. Not because we don't want him in the intro. Not because he shouldn't be in the what?
Wait, we have an intro?
We do have an intro.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's provided to us by our good friends over there at Midnight Syndicate. They're the ones that wrote and produced the intro for us, the music that we use every week. And then, of course, it's got talking in it, and it says, now broadcasted live from the After Hours AM studios, Joel Sturgis. Well, I do believe we're getting close to that time that we need to amend that a little bit.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that maybe there should be an expansion of the intro.
and might I just say to the listener that wrote that in, I salute you.
Well, I'm not asking to marry me, but I am asking, are you enjoying your time on this show, Mike? It's been a month. How do you feel about this show?
I love this show.
Do you really? Good.
I do.
Good to know. Good to know. There's some pressure amongst the After Hours AM faithful to install you as not the guest co-host, but the co-host.
Wait. Just say that again. I want to hear those words again.
There is some pressure amongst the After Hours AM faithful.
Some pressure? I like that.
On me. That's pressure on me. To install you as the host. Now that's big shoes to fill. Now that's big accolades when they say that, because forever, and of course we'll have him back as a guest one day because he's working with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but for his own reasons he left the show. Eric Olson, he was so beloved. He really was. And since then, I have been, well, for lack of a better term, single.
Yes.
And now, Mike, you've come into the After Hours AM life, and
I have filled that void.
When they are starting to acknowledge you in emails that they are writing as part of the show,
take me as one of their own. I like that.
You have been adopted by these people, and they know not what they do. I've never said I have. I've always said I got the smartest audience in radio. I always have said that because they come up with some questions I would never think of. But sometimes I do question their sanity. Not their intelligence, but their sanity.
Yeah, that's all right. You don't need sanity. A little bit of loco is okay.
That is all okay. It is okay to be a little crazy. And they, my friend, are crazy for you. So
sweet.
Okay, now we got a... Yeah, go ahead, gloat a little bit. Keep going. You're not done. I understand. I understand.
This is wonderful.
Keep going. I mean, enjoy the moment, Mike.
Nope, I'm done. Go.
Enjoy. Okay, are you sure you're ready to move on? No, the show.
Yes.
We have some big things, some big programming notes coming. Just doing a little quick house cleaning, as it were. We will be heard in the UK coming up here, and we're coming back to the UK. And that is something that's been missing. In fact, a lot of listeners are grabbing us right now in the UK, but they didn't have a terrestrial home for us over there until recently.
Damn travesty.
So we are going to be broadcasting next month. We'll start broadcasting. I'll give you guys more details as that comes in on the station and where you guys can tune in and stuff. over there in the United Kingdom, and we love each and every one of you guys, and we're the best audience ever because I love our audience here in the States. They are the greatest, right? But the UK audience, they're not afraid to give it to you straight. If you're stinking up the joint, they're going to tell you, hey, dude, you guys suck.
I love
right?
that.
They're very honest. And
I crave that in my soul.
And I appreciate that because sometimes you need that feedback, whether it's good or whether it's bad or whether it's indifferent. You need that feedback sometimes to grow as a radio host. Because if everyone tells you you're great all the time and you're really not all that good, you really don't work to get better. So, also Australia will be picking us up. We'll be heard in the land of Down Under very, very soon as well, working out deals there and a few other radio networks on the horizon. We are growing. Man, we're growing quick. I thought we were done growing, but there's never an end to growth, man, and it's always awesome to have new affiliates in the After Hours AM family.
100% agree.
So
love everyone.
We need to move on. We got a lot of listener emails. And you guys have been busy. And these are just 4 of the, I don't want to say the best ones, but 4 of the ones that had the least curse words in it. So if you guys email us, and we encourage you to, afterhoursam@gmail.com. That's always up and going. Of course, you can text us at 612-326-6874. And we do get quite a few texts out of the blue throughout the week saying, hey, here's my story. And they text it in, and that's cool too because that's easy to just copy and paste into a message and boom, boom, boom. But when you do email us in, I have to edit the ones because I've heard a few times, hey, I wrote you and you didn't read my email, and I thought it was the greatest story ever, and it was a really good story. But if there's 50,000 F-bombs in there, like you're using in place of commas, it makes my job in editing hell. So if you want to just kind of, make it radio friendly, it would be a lot easier on this guy. Just throwing that out there, because pesky FCC breathes down our necks every time we let something slip. So that being said, the house cleaning done, we have a huge show tonight. We have Chip Coffey. He will be joining us the top of next hour. That'd be the
Love me some Chip.
9 o'clock hour Central, 10 o'clock Eastern, that would be the 10 o'clock Eastern hour. Sorry about that. And, don't forget, this Sunday is Daylight Savings Time. It will be time to spring that clock forward, right, Mike? Spring it on forward if you live in a state that recognizes Daylight Savings Time. So spring is upon us, my friend. I just want to get that out there as well.
I will actually be doing an investigation at the exact time that it springs forward.
Yeah, you're going to be in Duluth, right?
I am going to be in Duluth. It is on Tuesday, next Tuesday, the 10th, is my team's Odyssey Paranormal Society. It's our 5-year anniversary. And so I'm treating my team to an investigation at the Depot.
That'll be a lot of fun. The Depot is a great place. You're going to have a lot of fun investigating.
It's going to be great. I love that.
Yeah.
I've never investigated it, but I've been there. It's unreal.
So now, if you're in Duluth and you want to meet up with Mike while he's in Duluth on the investigation, get a home beforehand. Maybe you can meet up somewhere if you're worthy enough to meet Mr. Mike. He is, after all, the best-looking man in radio.
Yes. I can vouch for that, actually.
I knew you could. But again, you guys have a great time. I will be in Grand Rapids doing some Bigfoot-related things going on, but that is coming up in May. Go to nmbrt.com for all the information on that event that's coming up in May. It's going to shape up to be a lot of fun. Hope to see you guys there. If you have interest in Bigfoot, of course, buy your tickets. It'll be good. I'll be there covering for radio. All that kind of fun, good stuff. Make sure you get in there. But now that we got this all out of the way. Oh, no, we don't. There's one other little event happening in October. What am I talking about, man? What am I talking
really
about?
Know. You don't know.
I don't know. Well, Mike, why don't you fill them in on that event?
I am. In October 1st through the 3rd, it is the Minnesota Para-Unity Convention, of which I am the organizer for. And you can go to mnparacon.com and find out all about that. In fact, on Sunday, I announced more. I added more to the lineup. woman who author is paranormal investigator, and named Natalie Jones. She is going to be there presenting and signing books. We have the original Mystery Machine, which I don't know why, but I'm so excited for that.
Yeah,
I'm so excited for that, and
I am too.
The owner messaged me, and he's like, "Hey, would you be interested?" I'm like, hell yeah!" And he had like the interior all redone. He sent me pictures of it. It's unbelievable. And then, of course, the big announcement of Steve Gonzalez from Ghost Nation and Ghost Hunters. He is now officially a part of ParaUnity. So if you want to go to mnparacon.com and get your tickets today for that, it's happening October 1st to the 3rd.
And if you're a vendor and you want to get in on this, do it quickly because those are flying off the shelf as well. So
yes, they are.
And this is not, if you want to, even if you're a group and you just want to be seen out there, this is the event to do it. This is the premier event in Minnesota. I know Mike won't say that, but I will. It is the premier event because he's just too darn humble. But this is the one that you're going to want to be at. Be there or be square kind of deal going on.
I was going to say, if there's any descriptive word for me, I definitely would choose humble.
No, I got that too. I feel the real vibe of humbleness, if that's even a word, coming, just oozing from these speakers right now. And you're a very humble man. Well, like I said at the top of the hour, got lots of emails to get through. Do you want to kick the first one off? I know there's a very interesting one actually from our state that came in. Mike, you brought this up. The first thing they did was email us like hours after this happened. So thank you guys for keeping us in the back of your heads right after that happens. That's very cool.
So, it starts out, "Hi, Joel and new guy Mike. Love that." So as long as I'm like involved in it, I really don't care what you
the new guy. Well, you know.
The new FNG, my friend, FNG. Yeah. So I know you are both from Minnesota. I have to tell you about my Faribault incident. So Faribault, for anybody who's not in Minnesota, is about a half hour, 45 minutes south of the cities. And please read live if you would like. Can't forget that. Ever since we moved to this town a year ago, we always take the dogs on a walk down to the nature center outside of town called Falls Creek. We always go at night so the dogs can run around and not be so antsy before the wife and I go to sleep. We haven't had any trouble with coyotes or other dog walkers, so we've always let the dogs roam freely. We never really run into anyone apart from young lovers or kids smoking weed. That's always nice.
It's great.
Tonight was not.
Sorry.
Exactly. Tonight was not our night. Our youngest dog took us down a deer path. Not fearing anything since we live in the area, we decided to follow her. As the wife is telling me about her day, we both started to smell a fire. We kind of just brushed it off until the dogs started barking and growling, and all three of them run towards what seems to be a few canvas tents, which is odd since we are still in a few inches of snow. Our dogs have their hackles up. I don't know what a hackle is.
I don't know what a hackle is either, but
I'm assuming that means their tails.
Maybe.
But I'll just say it as they wrote it. So hackles up, as I've never seen before. It took us a while to get them to heel so we could put the leashes on them. They never took their eyes off the tents. Their hackles didn't go down either. They just formed a triangle, and the other two on our side, and our young but huge Japanese Akita, I hope I said that right, in the front, we assured the people that they were safe from our dogs, and they came out to greet us. It was a woman dressed in an Amish-style dress and fur sweater, a young woman dressed almost the same, and a man with a thick beard, no mustache, just his Abraham Lincoln kind of thing going on, as we dressed was dressed a bit out of date. Our dogs just staring at them down, their heckles all the way up, as my wife reached to shake the woman's hand and introduce herself. Our Akita launched herself towards the woman, literally going through her and the tents, and the people just disappeared. just damn vanished. The chills, the disbelief, the fear. We never have sped walk as fast as we did a few hours ago.
Oh my God.
So, yeah, as Joel was saying, I love the fact that this happened to them, and their first instinct was, we need to get home and write to Joel and Mike.
Yeah, right. They need to hear about this, and we thank you guys a ton for
100%.
sharing that with us. And I don't know what I would do if I was in that situation. I mean, I would be intrigued, but maybe I'd also be a little freaked out.
I think if that happened to me, I'd be like, well, that was a little strange.
Yeah, that set the tone for the night.
Yeah. I don't know if I would. I think I would just kind of stand there and look at it and not really do anything for a while as I sort of took it in.
Yeah.
But the people came out, so it's not like, so they knew that those people were there. So, I mean, there was some sort of intelligence to it. But to me, and I'd like your opinion on this, I think they almost had like what happened in the others. Like there was some sort of a time.
Just about to say, almost sounds like a time slip.
Yeah, because, and I don't know why that would be in Faribault at this particular time, but I almost wonder if it would be hilarious if you looked up in the history and there was some story about this group of settlers that were in the tents that saw these weird people and their dogs that just disappeared.
Yeah, find a journal
right?
of them saying, wow, did we have a weird night that night? And it was them with their dogs. That would really be a story. It kind of reminds me of the story of the couple from Wisconsin that years ago we got an email talking. And I think this story has been around forever. And I think that's maybe why I didn't necessarily read it on air, because I know I've heard it before. But they go into the story goes like this, Mike, because they're in Wisconsin, deep into Wisconsin, kind of like not quite to Madison, but that area of Wisconsin, southern part of Wisconsin. And they're on a road trip, and they're from Minnesota, and they stop at this. They're getting hungry, so they stop at this little bar and grill kind of thing, and they go in there, and everybody is dressed old timey, like back from the 50s and the 40s, and they thought it was just part of the shtick of the bar, like maybe it was one of those kind of bars where they did that. Well, they enjoyed the drinks and they left, and they did all that stuff. They thought it was such a cool little place they're going to stop by, and they stopped by again to get another burger because they enjoyed their time so much that the place is boarded up. And they went down to the Sinclair station down the road, and they said, hey, what about that little tavern down there that we stopped the other night and we had a burger? And the guy looks at them and says, that's been closed for 50 years. So, little time slips like that could really happen. And I'm sure you've heard several stories over the years, Mike, about time slips.
Sure. I mean, one happened to a guy, he went by Pee Wee Herman, and he was kind of hitchhiking down the road one night, and he got picked up by the semi. And there was like this beefy looking gal in the driver's seat, and she started talking about this like huge accident that happened. And when he got to this biker bar or whatever, she said, "Tell him Large Marge sent you." and so he walked in and he said that, and they all stopped and looked at him weird, because apparently Large Marge was in that accident like 15 years prior.
Oh wow. Man, I've never. Go ahead, sir.
Do you seriously not know that that's one of the plot points to Pee-wee's Big Adventure?
I do know. I know, but
okay, all right. You were taking it a little more seriously.
I was just about to say, oh wow, they quoted a movie. That's what I was just about to say. No, time slips do happen a lot of times. We've gotten a lot of reports of it. I've never encountered what I would call really a time slip. I've had moments where I thought, wow, this is strange, but I couldn't actually say I was in a time slip. But deja vu, some people say, is even like a mini time slip.
I do that all the time.
Yeah. Isn't the weirdest thing, though, deja vu? Just had the other day. And you've been there before. You just know it. You can almost tell what's going to happen next.
Yeah, but it never does. Like I'm like, okay, from what I remember, because usually it happens in a dream. Like I'll dream something, and then but it's always like very, very mundane. Like I'm staring at a computer screen, or something like that. Like it's never doing anything. Never doing anything important.
You're right. It's never any huge event. Like, oh my God, I dreamt that, or oh my God, I've lived this before. Some big earth-shattering event. It's always something small. Like, did I make a peanut butter and jelly this way yesterday? Oh,
well, it's never yesterday. Like it always just comes to me, and it always feels the same. That I saw this before. Like I've done it before, and I almost think that in my dreams, especially when if you take energy as like time and space don't exist, then you can go forward and back in time. And I always think that maybe I, for whatever reason, went forward, entered myself, saw this for however long I did, and then was pulled back.
Yeah.
And then that deja vu feeling is the feeling of my past self merging with my present self before it gets pulled away again.
It very well could be. It could be. There's got to be something to it because it's there. It's tangible when it's happening. I mean, you feel it. So, it's either that or our mind is playing tricks on us because our mind does crazy things once in a while. But to that detail, I would understand if it's something that's kind of repetitive in your life, feeling deja vu-ish about it, but not when it's a completely random act that you generally don't do, and you're sitting there feeling, I've done this before.
Well, there have definitely even been times where I haven't noticed, like I haven't recognized a single thing. Like I pass it off as some subconscious, crap heap that my mind decided to show me that night.
Yeah.
And then 5 years down the road, well, there I am.
Yeah. Yeah. Or it could be future telling. Maybe we're all a little psychic. And we get mundane, useless glimpses of the future that have no consequence.
No. Well, I mean, I always took it as, if you want to believe in fate, you want to believe in destiny, you want to believe that, you have God's plan, however you want to, you do it. I always take that as I'm still on that path.
Yeah.
Because I reached that point that I saw years ago.
Yeah.
And now I can continue. Like it always actually has brought me a little bit of comfort.
I was going to say it's a little affirming.
Yeah, that no matter the good decisions, the bad decisions, it doesn't matter. Well, it does matter, but I am still on the road that I supposedly am supposed to be on.
Sure. That makes sense to me. But again, to the letter, thank you guys. And thank you guys for thinking of us right away and keep listening and keep sharing. If you let us know if you guys encounter this again, or or other things start happening, or just kind of keep us in the loop if something does start going on, or like I said, if you see it again, because if it's repeatable, that would be cool. That would be really cool. I mean, not maybe for them because it's a little freaky, but for the rest of us listening, that would be darn cool. Okay, here's another story. We got another writer coming in. I heard you guys talking about the Hat Man a couple weeks ago. Here's my story. When I was young, maybe about 10 or 11, I was sitting in my room wide awake during a lightning storm. Oh my gosh, it's always the worst time, isn't it? Right during that storm. Now my room was almost perfect square. A perfect square. In the upper left-hand corner of the room, from bird's eye angle, was my bed running along the left wall. At the bottom of the square, from the bird's eye angle again, bird's eye angles are big in this one evidently, was my closet. Then the door at the bottom angle. Along the right wall, there was simply a large dresser. I was lying in my bed, looking out the door in the lit hallway, when some lightning flashed outside. Oh, I know where this is going. Even in the movies, it's never good. A moment later, the door slammed shut. A shadow figure was immediately there. Red eyes, trench coat, and a fedora. That would fit the description of our good friend, or I shouldn't say good friend, but our one terrifying friend, the Hat Man. He was only there for a split second. Then he was gone. I never saw him again. I don't remember what happened afterward, except that the door was magically open again and he was gone. I never forgot this. I thought about it a lot, like every day for years as a child, and still think it's to this day. I still think about it to this day pretty often. Now many years later, probably about a decade or so, I decide, let's Google it and see what pops up. Imagine my shock and horror when I hear many, many people have witnessed this gentleman. I read he appears in violent environments or abusive environments. I grew up in an extremely abusive household during that time. It was violent and violence and anger every day, all day. I don't know why he chose to appear to me, but I never forgot him. I felt he was with me for quite some time. I never saw him again. I just felt he was protecting me almost. It was very odd. I should state I'm a skeptic. Really? Never mind. Had this not happened to me, I don't think I'd entertain the possibility of ghosts or otherworldly entities. I just wanted to know what you guys might think about it. Well, I think the best person to answer that right now, because just a show on it, would be Mike. You guys just did a show a couple weeks ago dealing with the Hat Man.
We've actually done 2 shows on the Odyssey Files about him.
Yeah, and so what's your takeaway about the Hat Man?
So I definitely don't doubt that it probably was, except there really isn't any, and that might have changed since I did my research, but I don't think so. There doesn't seem to be any environment that really stops him. Like, sure, I'm sure he shows up with violent and abusive environments, but that's not the only ones. Like, he doesn't really have an environment. He can show up anytime he wants to. The fact that, that was the environment of your house during a lightning storm, I mean, it could have just been his version of special effects. Mm-hmm. I mean, but if he did appear to you, and it looks like he did, there was a reason for it. And I'm still working on why. I actually was just in a long conversation with Chuck Zukowski about it, because he has seen it. Seen the Hat Man as well about 25 years ago. And we almost think that you have some sort of role to play in the future because of this secret war or whatever that's going on between the Hat Man and other benevolent alien figures. And that he knows the people, almost like Terminator, if you want to go that route, where he's coming back to when you were a child to try and change things for you, to try to change the path that you're on, without just outright killing you. Although he has attempted that a couple times too. But that, I really don't think that the violent and abusive environments really has anything to do with where he goes and where he doesn't go. He just shows up when he wants to show up.
Yeah, well, longtime listeners of the show know that Heidi Hollis, the founder, the one that coined the Hat Man for you, was a co-host of this show for a long time.
Yes.
And we had many discussions on the Hat Man and why he's around and what he does. And of course, the long-running joke was, you stub your toe, the Hat Man made you do it. You slam your finger in a car door, the damn Hat Man. But all joking aside, he seems to be a harbinger of something to come. I mean, he just doesn't show up for no reason, right? Because if
there's no randomness.
There's no random. There's a plan. Now, like you'd alluded to the secret war, that there is something going on with that. Now, some have said that the Hat Man doesn't work alone. He has an army, a minion. I mean, if you want to go that deep, all shadow people would be related to the Hat Man. Some believe.
Yes.
So Is it something to fear? Yes, but is it something to really... I don't know if I would be necessarily completely overwhelmingly afraid of that, because remember, you also have some power.
Yes.
You're not alone. You have that ability to defend yourself. Personal empowerment's huge. And personal power, even against the Hat Man, has proven to work. Now, some people have said that, reciting biblical references has worked. But I think it comes down to your own personal beliefs. I don't think you need to scream out in Jesus' name, leave. I think as long as you're showing that power and you believe you have that power, that's where it comes down to, in my opinion. But he is a harbinger of chaos. There is no two ways about it. And many people have written this show, and I know they've gotten a hold of you as well, Mike, talking about their Hat Man experiences where he is very physical, and he has, in some people have said, killed people. So my takeaway with you seeing the Hat Man, I think it's a warning shot across the bow more than anything else that he's around.
Yeah, I don't think I would go so far as the warning shot, as opposed to, I know who you are. I can come to you anytime I want. Watch yourself.
Exactly. I've never seen the Hat Man, and I've never seen.
Nor have I, and I've talked about him a lot. So you would think that if he's going to come after anybody, it's going to be me.
Yeah, we had the founder of him on the show, and he never came to mess with me. And I'm like, yeah, whatever, Hat Man. And he never showed up. So you know. Yeah.
You know what's bad about that is you almost have to think of it, well, does that mean that I play absolutely no role in future events?
See,
I'm just crap.
I try not to think that way because, I would feel very bad about myself if I did. Or maybe I'm so powerful that he knows not to trifle with me.
Oh, Lord.
See, huh? The yin, the yang, maybe, great power with great responsibility, We got to run a break, pay some bills. We'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere.
Ranger Station, Ranger speaking.
Yeah, hi. I'd like to report a bear sighting.
Location.
My backyard.
Oh, your backyard. Try telling a bear that.
I did, and this bear talked back.
Talking bear, that's rich.
No, wait, it was Smokey Bear.
Smokey? Why didn't you say so?
I did say so.
Continue.
I was burning yard waste.
No, boy.
He told me to burn legally and responsibly, and to remember that if it's too hot to touch, it's too hot to leave.
And as always, he's right. 9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans. That means 9 out of 10 wildfires can be prevented.
Yeah, I know that now.
Thanks to me.
Actually, thanks to Smokey.
As usual, the talking bear gets all the credit. Get your Smokey on. Always burn responsibly and contact your local fire department for open burning regulations. Because 9 out of 10 wildfires can be prevented. Brought to you by Smokey Bear, the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council. Learn more at smokeybear.com. Only you can prevent wildfires.
Northern Tool and Equipment.
I got a rather serious problem over here.
All right, what are we looking at?
Cranky mother-in-law asleep on the couch in the man cave.
Dear God.
It gets worse.
That's impossible.
She's passed out on the remote.
I stand corrected.
What do I do?
Okay, I want you to grab a torn big red hydraulic bottle jack.
Okay.
Now you wedge that bad boy in under your mother-in-law and crank her up skyward.
It's working. Got the remote.
Great. Now grab that torn big red 2-ton folding shop crane and put that woman on wheels.
And away we go.
There's no problem a little horsepower can't solve. Northern Tool and Equipment.
Welcome back to After Hours AM. I'm your host, Joel Sturgis. Right along with me is Mr. Mike O'Neill, and we are...
What's happening, everyone?
We're at the segment where it's Ask Mike. This is where if you have a question, if you want to know what's up in the world, ask Mike.
According to me?
Yeah, according to the world, according to Mike, however bad it is, he'll tell you, good, bad, or ugly. It is all up for grabs. So, again, the views and opinions of Michael O'Neill do not necessarily reflect After Hours AM, iHeartRadio, or any of its affiliates. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking.
No, I was going to say that's actually probably pretty smart.
But first question out of the gate is, Mike, when you had Chuck Zukowski on in the past, you have alluded to, last time he was on with you and Joel, you alluded to black-eyed children. It was brought up in conversation. Now, in my research, I've noticed that black-eyed children seem to be a fairly new phenomenon in the paranormal. Doesn't seem to have a long lineage. What is your opinion of who they are, what they are, and why they are here, or anything else you'd like to add on the topic of black-eyed kids?
So I guess I don't know if I would necessarily say that it's a new phenomenon, but that depends on what your definition of new phenomenon is.
Yeah,
but I mean,
they haven't been around as long as Nessie.
Years.
They haven't been around as long as Bigfoot or Nessie. I'm going to assume
right? Okay. Okay, then yes, I agree with you on that one. So my answer to that is a little out there, a little weird. So if you don't agree with me, that's perfectly fine. So I alluded just a couple minutes ago to this thing called the Secret War and the Hat Man and his legion of shadow people. And I want to just start right from the beginning and say there's a huge difference between shadow people and then shadow figures. Mm-hmm. Okay? They're two separate things. So I don't want people to say I saw a shadow figure in my house and think that it's the exact same thing as a shadow person. So I just want to make that distinction. So one of the things that talks about in the Secret War, and it has some variance to it, is that these shadow people and the Hat Man, their main goal is to get rid of all of us humans living and to rule the earth with their hybrids that they are creating, these alien human hybrids. We've heard about them from Ancient Aliens shows and all this stuff for years.
Yep.
I honestly think that black-eyed kids are human alien hybrids that have been possessed or infested by shadow people.
Okay. But why, though? I mean, obviously you gave some answer there. Is that so they would have more of a physical form to do damage then?
It's so they can walk amongst the earth, I guess, is my best answer for that. That they cease to be really shadow people, almost like not a surrogate, but a parasite in a host. Like they have created these hybrids to be meat suits for the shadow people.
Makes sense.
Does it?
It kind of does. I mean, that does make sense. You know, because if you're a shadow figure, right, you're not like what's the word? Oh, solid. The word I'm looking for, generally speaking.
Right.
So
Correct.
in order to do,
you do not have a solid form.
Yeah, in order to do true damage or chaos or what have you, you'd have to infest something that would have the physical presence in this dimension to do that.
I sense that you were trying to take my crazy theory and trying to find logic in it.
Well, I'm trying to find some logic in it. I do see the logic in it. I do. And but I think there's more to it. I think my own personal opinion is when you talk about black-eyed kids, and they seem to have a monotone, almost extraterrestrial, vampire-ish way about them. People have talked about them being able to almost put them in a trance when they look at them, almost like a vampire. And then when they talk, it's monotone. And I've heard story after story, and why these people in the age of cell phones cannot flash a picture of these kids, I do not know. But then again, it could speak to the hypnotic forces that they may have to not, be exposed. Is there a possibility that they are straight up aliens? That they are more than just hybrids, but they are the aliens. They are the offspring of the direct alien-human mixture.
Could be. It very much could. I mean, we don't know enough about them to realize kind of why their eyes are black. Maybe that's part of the DNA that they couldn't figure out how to do irises and corneas and stuff. So everything is just black.
When we talked to Brian Bethel, and he's the guy that broke the black-eyed children back in 1996 in Abilene, Texas, he was the first one to come out with, oh my God, I saw these kids. And I happened to be in a parking lot of a mall, is where he saw them by a post office. Was the first encounter anyone wrote about them, these black-eyed kids, back in 96. So it's been, 20 plus 25 years since the phenomena first came out or came up. And we're all still trying to figure out what's going on, what they are. But what gets me is the hypnotic part of it. Because it's almost like they take a bit of your free will away from you by doing that. Like, they'll come to your door, they'll knock on it. Let us use your phone. Let us use your phone. Let us in. We're just kids. Let us in. Let us in. And it's lulling you maybe into that just taking those defenses down just a little.
Yeah, they like normal kids. They just nag you until you do what you want.
Yeah. My kids, they'll nag all day. I'll hear about the same thing for weeks if I don't give in. Weeks. They never give in. They're maniacal about it. Give me that. I want that. Or they'll go, Dad, for 10 minutes straight. Finally, I go, what? Hi. Oh, you were just messing with me. That's all you're doing.
It's a Family Guy joke.
That is a Family Guy joke. But what's funny is it might be a Family Guy joke, but it happens in real life. It really does.
Probably because of Family Guy.
Yeah, my kids don't watch Family Guy, but, I think it's inherently inside them to be strange. That's why I
completely understand.
But anyhow, we have two different opinions on it, and it will be interesting to see as things come out, if they do come out, what the black-eyed children really are. I think we're both right in our own way, but I think there's more to it than we realize.
Probably.
Exactly. Some people have also seen them with a phantom black dog when they've seen the black-eyed kids. So that just came in the text line. Thank you, Texter. That is true.
I haven't heard that.
Sometimes I've heard that, such as black dog phenomena. They call it the phantom black dog. They've had them with them. Some have said that they're almost like a protector of these children. So if things do go south, the dog is there to help them out. So it's all strange, wacky stuff. Really quickly, we got to get to a movie review, but we got one more ask. Mike, hey, Mike, I'm putting together a paranormal team. Yeah, finally doing it. I want to know what we should buy for our team for recording devices. Joel, I know, mister. I know everything about sound. I hear you, but I'm looking for ease of use. I know. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, right.
When you think simple, think Mike.
Yeah. Well, ease of use they're looking for. So what's the best digital recorder on the market?
Okay, so the first thing I'm going to say is before you want to start your team, get some training. Don't just start a team, because you're going to end up probably killing yourself.
Yeah. There's that.
So just if you haven't had any training yet, get some training, please. If you want to make a real difference in any part of this. But once that is done, so what I use, and I have 5 of them, is the Olympus WS802. I don't think they make them anymore, though. You can find them on like eBay or whatever.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're like 70. Sometimes you'll find people that sell them for 200.
Oh, damn.
So hopefully you'll find the one. Yeah, it depends on if the person realizes that they're like out of print, so to speak. But what any sort of recorder I think will do, as long as it's not like really, really, really cheap. Like if you want actual results and good results, do not go cheap. Don't go $20 at Target. The other thing that I would recommend, and what I have for every single one except the Zoom, which is my second choice, is you can do a search on Amazon for them, and they're called miniature microphones. Sony makes them, Olympus makes them. They're like $30 each, so they're not exactly cheap. But they just go into the mic thing, and they amplify the sensitivity of your mic like tenfold. And the quality as well. So, I mean, if you really want to get quality results, I would buy one of those miniature microphones to go with your digital recorder.
How do you feel
if
about...
you want to go...
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
How do you feel about omnidirectional external mic?
I have not particularly used them, so I don't know. I wouldn't say that there's anything wrong with them. I know they have been used and still gotten results. But I've always just had, the left-right miniature microphone, and then the Zoom, which is about $150 a piece. But the quality of it is outstanding. And if you catch an EVP, it's there.
Yeah.
Because it'll probably be a Class A or a Class B at worst. The sensitivity and the quality of that microphone is unparalleled for what you can afford without, like a $1,000 microphone or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's some good advice. For digital microphone and digital setup, that does seem like that'd be the way to go. That one. And now a lot of people I've noticed use their smartphones when they're doing EVP. I've noticed that quite a bit lately. And I'm not quite sure. I haven't tested really hugely a smartphone microphone to see if it would even have what you need to be effective, but you do see it a lot. And what's your feelings on that? I can always tell your feelings by but why don't you elaborate?
I don't mince words. I don't believe in that. I don't think that the microphone of a phone is good at all. I think what you're going to have happen is somebody is going to breathe, or somebody's going to swipe their pants or something like that, like a natural thing that a normal recorder would pick up easily. And I think it's going to distort it to the point where you're going to matrix an EVP. You're going to be like, oh my God, what was that? And you're going to try to make words out of it. And it's got a completely rational, natural thing. But because you wanted to go cheap and use your phone, whose microphone is not very good for that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I think you're going to come up with a bunch of really awful and probably misidentified EVPs.
Now, if you're around a cemetery just for your own purposes, just to have fun, we're having a great time in a cemetery, yeah, use your phone. I'd give a damn less.
Get permission, trespass.
Yeah, exactly. As long as you check all the boxes and you're doing it the right way. If you just want to run around your friends and record on the go and that kind of thing, absolutely use your phone. Like I said, I could really care less what you people do. But, no, I'm kidding. I do care. I'm a purist. I still believe analog is the gold standard. I believe that it still gives, in my opinion, my own humble opinion, is still one thing that analog does that digital never will do, and it will create its own white noise as it's being used. And that's huge. Because that, and plus the magnetic properties of that tape, there's some theories that they don't really speak. They influence the magnetic properties because of the energy. There's that out there too. But digital, I just want to get this out there because I'll get emails from the purists out there that saying, but analog's better. In a lot of ways it is. You're not wrong, but not to your pocketbook. Because you start burning through analog tape.
Didn't say that myself.
It is expensive. It gets very expensive quickly. Back in the day, yeah, you can get a 10-pack of them, $4. Now you go on Amazon, $25. You get a 10-pack, if you can even find one. So, yeah, I think take Mike's advice. Get that one if you guys can swing it. If you have any more questions, of course, you can get a hold of Mike about any of the stuff that his team uses. Right, Mike?
No, absolutely.
And that will be, of course, what, director would be the best one?
Director at OdysseyParanormalSociety.com. Or, I mean, if you don't want to write that one down, just do like OdysseyParanormalSociety.com, and then there's like a contact page and everything where it'll go straight to me.
Yep, or afterhoursam at Gmail, just forward it to him too if you forget all that kind of good stuff. So we talk on a daily basis, so absolutely I'd be happy to do that for
Yes,
you
we
guys. Do. Okay, we saw an interesting movie over this past week, and
yes, we did.
I liked it. I liked the concept of it and stuff like that. And this one is brought to us as Gravedigger Dave's Halfway House, done by Keith Hopkins, and he was on the Double J brand of this show, 2-3 months ago. And super nice guy, super talented guy, knows his way around the camera. I thought the cinematography of the show was really good. I just want to open up by saying that technical end of it was really good before we get the storyline. What did you feel on the technical end?
I 100% agree with you. Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you on that one. I thought that the cinematography, the shooting, even the parts where they might have gone out of focus. Like I thought that fit with what was going on, and like the audio overlay, the kind of quieter music and stuff like that. That just I thought that the way that was put together was phenomenal. I mean, you could tell that this was a professional job done by somebody who knows what they're doing. And as somebody who uses like video pad for his editing and put out some pretty awful stuff, it's night and day. To that.
Yeah, I also like the concept of the anthology film. I'm a big fan of anthology films. I like short stories in a movie. I like it because I'm the kind of guy that will sit through a 3-hour movie and I'm checking my watch 45 minutes into it. Where I'm like, oh, man, I got so many other things to do. Wrap it up, that kind of thing. But this one didn't do that to me. I mean, it was good paced. It was fast paced. Had some good spooky stories to it as well. I thought it was not without its problems, though. And I don't want to just sit here and say this is the greatest film ever. It's not the second coming of Gandhi or Ishtar. I almost said Ishtar. That was a horrible movie. It's not the second coming of Citizen Kane here, but he did do an ambitious job of putting together. I thought it was, for the budget, I would definitely give it a thumbs up. I really would, because the storytelling is not horrible. Some of it was a little, almost lost my interest a little bit, but it got my interest back, because the main character, Matt Rasmussen, he does a great job of playing Gravedigger Dave. I thought he was pretty dynamic. I like that. I like the host.
I love that.
As a crypt keeper, he was great, so to speak.
My favorite thing about that whole entire thing was the writing and the acting of Gravedigger Dave.
Yeah.
I thought his awkwardness was perfectly done.
Yeah. I liked it. I did. I'd like to see more with, I think, expand the universe a little bit with other investigators too, to get, of course, I'm sure that's coming in, in other installments, so I'm not going to say it's, not coming. But I think an expansion should happen with the franchise, which I know this is the first film. So I'm looking forward to seeing expansions, more of the Gravedigger Dave character, and more maybe different stories, because they did feature some from our area, which you don't hear a lot of. Like the Greyhound Bus Museum was in there, and you don't hear it up in Hibbing. You don't hear a ton about that one, and to get Ron Dicklage on, that was funny. The curator of, and I know him. That's why it's funny seeing him on film, by the way. But what did you feel about the stories?
Okay, so that's where I a little bit depart. So I'm with you on the fact that it lost me in the beginning, because I didn't know exactly what I was. Because you had said that he had done a movie about different haunted locations in like Duluth in the surrounding areas. So I was like, okay, sweet. And there were some things added into it, and I'm not going to give anything away. And it really, they were entertaining, but they were like false and made up on purpose. I mean, I'm not saying he was trying to lie to anybody, but they were like purposely put in there for being false stories. Mm-hmm. And I didn't understand the need for it. And maybe that's where, that's on me. And the other thing that I just didn't understand was the role of the investigators. Cause you brought them in, to talk about what they do, which is great. But then they disappeared. Like they had nothing to do with more than one really, really short story about dopamine. Mm-hmm. And that just it just seemed to be non-consistent. And that's not a word. So inconsistent. There we go. Inconsistent until like the last third. And then I really got back into it because all of the stories were done the same way and they were all real. And I loved that part of it. It was just the kind of the stuff that was thrown in there that I didn't understand about it, but I enjoyed it nonetheless. It's a really good movie.
It has a great hook to it. The character, the MC, if you will, of that universe, Gravedigger Dave, of course, like we just agreed, is the shining light. I liked him. I liked him though. He kept me hooked. Like I wanted to see more. I wanted to see more Gravedigger Dave, and that beginning part where, of course, he's introducing himself and he's doing the different apparitions and stuff. I thought that was really well done and funny. And I agree with you. I think, but again, the budget, you got to consider the budget that they're dealing with too. We're not talking about a $100 million movie.
No, I know. And for however much it was really well done.
Yeah. No, I'd recommend watching it. I absolutely would. I mean, because I do know it's coming on Amazon. I think it's going to be Amazon Prime film, if I'm not mistaken. I think it'd be worth your hour and 20 minutes of your life to watch it. I really do.
Agreed.
I believe me. I've watched tons of movies sent to us. And this one, though, is, as far as coming from an independent house, which I also like the fact it's an independent filmmaker with that kind of ambition, too. Because, we've seen a lot of paranormal programming, obviously, movie-type stuff coming from more, I don't want to say seasoned, but people with deeper pockets that weren't as entertaining as this.
Agreed.
So I'm looking forward to seeing what the next installment of it. Again, it's worth your time. How many stars did you give it? I'm firmly at that 3.5 mark. I think that if some things are tightened up and stuff like that, he'd definitely get into that 4.5, 4.5 territory. I
100% agree with you. I would say I'm sitting here thinking, like, well, do I go as low as 3.5, and or do I do a 4? But I have to say 3.5, just specifically because the first part of it just didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
But otherwise, everything else was phenomenally done.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing more installments, though, because I really do believe it's going to get better as we go. If they keep that same universe going, because, it was really priming it up to be its own universe with Gravedigger Dave.
And Odyssey Paranormal Society, sir, is at your disposal.
Yeah, as we are over here, After Hours AM, absolutely, 110%. You need us, call upon us, and we will be there, Mr. Keith. Again, great guy.
If you film it, we will show
great
up.
Great filmmaker. Check it out. Again, that is Gravedigger Dave's Halfway House, hitting Amazon. Make sure you check it out, and feel free, email us with your own feelings on it. I think you will be pleasantly surprised with how ingenious it was. So we got to run. When we come back, Mr. Chip Coffey will be joining us. Be right back.
Chip!
Right after this.
Hi, Tom Bodette. If you can hear me, then you have an internet connection, which means you can do cool things online, like listen to streaming radio, obviously, or watch a video of a monkey washing a cat. Let your freak flag fly. Or you can book a room at a great price at Motel6.com. Isn't the internet wonderful? Everything you want right at your fingertips, and whoa, did not need to see that. I'm Tom Bodette for Motel 6, and we'll leave the light on for you.
Unexpected reactions to smart financial decisions brought to you by feedthepig.org.
Well, I finally did it. My student loan is totally paid off.
I can't believe it.
I can't believe it either. I paid more than the minimum each month, and soon enough, it was gone.
So you're just giving up?
Giving up on what?
The life of luxury. Egyptian cotton, caviar Thursdays, designer everything.
What are you talking about?
Our plan. What happened to winning the lottery and mastering the art of the perfect mimosa? Hosting galas, wearing enough jewelry to require a bodyguard, vacationing in the French Riviera, and then buying it.
I just thought maybe it was time to prepare for my future. You know, set some financial goals, make some smart investments, open a 401k.
Financial goals? Investments? A 401k? You are horrifying right now. Listen, if winning the lottery were easy, everyone would do it.
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
Northern Tool and Equipment.
So me and the boys head out to tailgate today and find some other fans in our spot.
Well, it happens.
Cheering for the wrong team.
Oh, this is war.
Even worse, they've got this couch set up and everything.
A couch?
Yeah, it's sectional.
All right, first thing, don't ever use the word sectional again.
Done.
Second, I want you to grab a 4,700-pound toe chain with J-hook and grab hammer. Throw that on the back of your truck.
Got it.
Now you're going to Hail Mary the J-hook over the end of that couch. Time to find a better spot for your new friends.
That should do it.
There's no problem a little horsepower can't solve. Northern Tool and Equipment.
Taking a family of 5 to the amusement park can cost a small fortune.
Oh, yeah. So to save some money, we thought, hey, let's bring the amusement park to us.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right. Step right up, young man. Are you ready to ride the wacky waterfall?
That's just the bathtub with the shower head running.
Nope, it's the wacky waterfall.
It's the shower, Dad.
Waterfall.
Wacky.
There's an easier way to save. To get a free rate quote, go to geico.com. Then buy online, over the phone, or at your local Geico office.
Green light. Hey, girl. School zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin Street? Girlin Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
And welcome back to After Hours AM. I'm your host, Joel Sturz. Right along with me is Mr. Michael O'Neill. And I have to say, folks, I do not get excited for a guest very often. I've been doing it for a long time, 15 years, this show. This is the first time in the existence of this show that we've ever had Mr. Chip Coffey on. Now, back in the day, we've talked with him. We've had things arranged for him to come on. This is a long time ago when he was on another show, and we can bring that up at some point if we choose to. But the stars just never aligned. But finally, they're aligning, Mike, and we're getting Chip on with us on this show. So I'm going to step aside and let you do the introductions, my friend, because you and Chip are good friends.
As soon as I got involved, here he is.
Right? It took you.
So it took me.
Hey,
that's all you needed.
Credit where credit's due, my friend.
So as most people know, I am the host of the Odyssey Files on ParaX Live, and one of the first guests that I had on was this man, and he has been on, I think, 4 times now on that show, including one time where, like, on the spur of the moment, agreed to call in and wish my co-host a happy birthday as a surprise. He is a phenomenal individual, a beautiful medium, and love this guy to death. My good friend, Mr. Chip Coffey. Good evening, Chip.
Hi, guys. How are you doing?
Hey, nice meeting you, Chip. Really, it's an honor and a privilege. Like I said, I've wanted to talk to you for quite some time, and there's a lot of questions I have of my own. You know, I mean, the normal. You know, when did you know you're psychic? That kind of stuff. Really, I want to know. I guess more than anything else, we hear about what it's like. You know, when people discover their ability. But I guess the biggest question I get is, how do you, as someone of your caliber of a medium, how do you control that ability once you know you have it? Because it would seem that there is a lot of mediums, especially young mediums, that are tormented by it. What's the best? What do you do?
I will have to tell you that Skype froze on me completely, so whatever you said for about the last 60 seconds, I didn't get.
Oh, okay. that is all right. I can easily redo it. The question I get the most from young mediums, because they'll listen to the show, we'll have a medium on, they'll have a million questions. But one question is never really answered for them, and I really do believe you're the one to answer this. When they do realize that they do have abilities, it isn't the fact that they have abilities, but how do they manage it and turn that ability off and not get tormented?
You know what? There really isn't a prescriptive method to do that. I think that everybody has to do things individually and learn how to manage their abilities so that their abilities do not manage them. I just made an agreement with my...
Oh, he froze again. It's going to be one of those.
Well, we could always kill the video, Mike, and that might free up some bandwidth on that end of things, and it might stop the freeze.
Yeah. Chip! Are you back? Might have even lost him. Hope not. Well, that was a great interview.
That was a wonderful... No. We'll get Chip on ASAP. But that's one of the bigger questions, not necessarily about, ability, but how is it managed?
Yeah, I agree with you.
You guys have got me back again. Skype
yes, we do.
I turned off video.
Yep, so did I. So we should be good.
Skype is being really kind of weird tonight. So, in answer to your question, I said, I don't want to be Whoopi Goldberg and Ghost. There's not a prescriptive method to dealing with how to turn off your abilities. I made an agreement with my spirit partners to kind of stand guard, stand sentinel around me so that I'm not constantly being barraged with an inflow of unbidden stuff. You know, if it's going to prevent an emergency or a tragedy or something like that, then it can come through if it's strong enough. But, otherwise, I don't want to be walking through a grocery store and, hearing in my head, oh, there's my granddaughter, say hello to me. I'm not 1-800 dial the dead. So yeah, I don't want to have that kind of lifestyle. I've got things to do in the third dimension. I have a life to live.
You mean you're not like another psychic, and we'll leave her unnamed? They'll be walking down the street and saying, "Your grandma says hi, by the way. Your grandma says hi." You're not
very
that.
Interesting. It's interesting that you bring that up. I call those kind of readings ambush readings, and it's like you're trespassing on someone's personal psychic space. Mm-hmm. And I never will give a reading to anybody or share information unbidden. I'll always ask permission, and if someone says no, that's a valid answer.
Yeah.
So I don't believe in walking up to someone in a mall or a restaurant or on the street and just launching into a reading for them. It feels like an ambush.
That, and I would imagine it could be extremely emotional for the person receiving if they're not ready.
I actually would be really hacked off if someone did that to me.
Yeah. I would too.
Yeah, I can see that.
I would be like, what gives you the right? Just to bring that up to me. You don't know.
I would probably be a little more forceful than that. I would just like, who the F are you? Back off.
I'm already going to get along with you really well, Chip. I am, because that's exactly how I would feel about it. Now, you've been in TV a long time, and you, of course, started with Paranormal State and Psychic Kids, and now you have a new show, Kindred Spirits, and it is a really interesting show. I have to say, I'm enjoying it quite a bit.
Thank you.
Is it a different... I know every show is different, Every era is different. Is it a more relaxing vibe on Kindred Spirits? Because we're seeing a little bit different Chip Coffey than we did before. I don't want to say you seem more open, but you almost seem more relaxed, unless I'm reading entirely too much into that.
Well, I think that part of that is that I'm so comfortable working with Amy and Adam, the two stars of the show. And we've known each other for a lot of years. We know each other's families. I mean, to give you two examples of how we know each other's families, you know, I was at Adam and his husband Ben's wedding ceremony, and I know Adam's parents. I know Ben's parents. Sylvia, Adam's mother, you know, she and I talk on the phone. Amy, I knew her family. I actually, and this is tough to talk about, but when Amy's mom passed away at the last minute, when the minister that was going to perform or conduct the funeral had a conflict of some sort, I canceled everything and flew to California to officiate at Amy's mother's funeral. So, I mean, there's a lot of bonding and a lot of affection between us. So I'm sure, at least I hope, that translates on camera and to the audience. So I think that that's given me a great sense of comfort on the show, so that I don't feel like I have to jump through a hoop of fire. I know that they're going to support whatever I get. And you've seen me on camera go, I'm not getting anything else. And, you know, if I'm not getting anything else, they're not hounding me or pushing me to come up with something. So I really am grateful, not only to them, but to the production company, Paper Route, and to the people at Discovery Travel Channel for allowing me to be a part of this production. I think it's, from some of the other episodes, or some of the other series, rather, it's a little softer. It's not constantly looking for horribly negative entities or demonic entities, so it's got a softer feel to it to some degree. But nonetheless, I mean, we go in and initially we feel like we may be confronting something that is darker, but most of the times we've come away and have found out that that's not necessarily the case. It may be somebody that's hacked off, some spirit that's really kind of pissed off, but they're not, you know, it's not, you know, Captain Howdy.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing with a lot of the shows that are out there when they have an investigation. They never say it's just a confused old lady there. That's you know, I mean, as harmless. It's always the worst case scenario. You know, you have shadow people sucking your soul out of your eyeballs. But it would seem, watching Kindred Spirits, that's not always the case. You know, and that's what I kind of like about that, is it's not going to that dark place all the time.
I think a lot of times you get what you're looking for. I believe, you know, there's a gentleman whose name is Mark Macy, and he's got a website, I think it still exists, called worlditc.net, maybe, or not .org, but it's World ITC, and he's very big in interdimensional transcommunication. And one of the things that Mark Macy says, and I always remember and often quote him, he says, the intent of the seeker affects the results.
I believe
and
that.
I fully believe that if you go in expecting to find, you know, Captain Howdy, you're probably gonna conjure up Captain Howdy. Yeah. But if you go in with an open mind and an open heart, and you're not necessarily expecting to find something, you know, that quite that dark or sinister, I don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah. So what you think about may come about.
I think there's some validity to that.
Yeah. So when you go into... go ahead, sir.
Oh, I was going to ask a follow-up question, but so if that's the case, then I guess there's two parts to this now that just entered my head. How much do you think, like, activity-wise, is misidentified? You know, like they're like mass hysteria, and what do you think then, like the role of a paranormal investigator that goes in to help a family who hear these claims and this possible mass hysteria? What do you think they do to the environment when they go in thinking that this could be a potential negative or inhuman case, or just like a really aggressive negative entity?
I honestly have to say I don't know the answers to those questions, but I'll tell you what I think. I won't disparage the way that anybody else, I won't necessarily disparage the way that anybody else investigates. I have my way of investigating, and other people have their own methods, but it's interesting to watch some people in their investigative protocols go in fully anticipating the worst.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's kind of setting themselves up for what they're going to get, you know, and we don't go in with any preconceived notions. I never go in with preconceived notions. I always wait to see what I'm going to sense or discern before I go into a location, when I go into a location. And so I'm sometimes flummoxed, for lack of a better word, by how often people find demonic entities on almost every investigation they go on. I'm going to leave it at that.
Well, but you're not wrong. I mean, every time you turn around, the D word's being used.
Yeah.
You know, almost to nausea. Like, okay, now there can't be a demon under every rock here. All right, come on, guys, let's get real here for a minute. But you're right. It's almost to the point where it's laughable. That's where it's gotten to, like, you know, just laughable. You know, people that are kind of in the know and have done investigating, or at least have some understanding of how this works as far as we know how it works. How many times, Mike, have you encountered the big D word in your investigations?
Never.
I unfortunately can't say that. Not that I've gone looking for it, but sometimes I have encountered a demonic presence.
Mm-hmm.
And it's certainly, like I said, not what I'm looking for, but once you've waded into it, you've got to kind of see it through. I won't talk smack about any other show. It's not going to do me or anybody else any good.
And I respect that. We don't.
It's
want
just
that.
It's just gonna piss off the network and the.
Yeah. I wholeheartedly agree with Chip on that point. You know, but you know, that just does seem to be the new buzzword out there. You know, I mean, every time you turn around, it's that, but that is. A lot of that, I'm going to assume, Mike, is her ratings.
Yeah, I think so. So, Chip, I don't think I ever told you. I don't think I ever told you. Oh, I'm sorry. He's still talking. Chip, are you there? Oh,
I am.
I was saying, I got a small story. I don't think I ever told you. So, Dave and I, to do something fun, we did what we called the paranormal feud. And that was where we took Family Feud and polled people with paranormal questions, and then had two teams to go head to head against each other. But one of the questions that we first did is, what is the most common type of haunt? Thinking, residual, intelligent, that sort of thing. Kind of a tie between those two. And so I polled everybody that knew stuff about the paranormal. And of course, every one of my answers was either residual or intelligent. I think I got one poltergeist. Dave went to work where, you know, you have the civilians, the people that watch the shows, they don't really know anything about investigating, that sort of thing. And just hung the questions up on the bulletin board with lines underneath. And he pulled like 36, 38 people or whatever, and he got 18 demonics as being the most common type of haunt. So my question to you is, obviously I don't think you believe that that's the case, but do you think that that is what the shows and Hollywood in general have done to the mentality of like the normal everyday citizen that just really enjoys the paranormal shows?
I'm going to throw this out to you. Let me just cough for a minute, clear my throat, and say this.
It just makes me anticipate it more.
Take a look at the shows that have been on the air the longest. That's all I'll say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, gotcha. Well, that was a really short answer to a really long question.
I mean, that's the way you have to evaluate it. And it sort of gives you an idea of what is kind of, titillating to the viewers. They the darker stuff, sometimes the viewers, they eat it up.
Mm-hmm.
And, again, I've got to say, those shows have been on the air for a long time. And, we do to some degree with Kindred, knowing that we kind of are at a disadvantage because that's not the show that we are. And I think that there's much room for both. I think that you've got to look at ours as a softer version of paranormal investigating the way some people envision it to be. Maybe those 18 or whatever people that said demonic are in for a surprise if they watch our show, but not certainly the vast majority of authentic real life cases and not television cases that I've gone on, and I'm sure other investigators have gone on, legitimate, credible investigators have gone on, don't have a demonic or non-human element to them.
Mm-hmm. I would agree. I would definitely agree with you wholeheartedly. But, and that's the thing, and we were kind of talking a little bit before you came on air, because you're a very accomplished paranormal investigator about evidence, too. There seems to be some issues with understanding evidence. And that is actually becoming a bit of an epidemic on my end of things. Like, no, wherever you're learning how to look at evidence, you're obviously misreading what the evidence is, because there's a lot of pareidolia that happens, a lot of trick photography, things of the mind that happen. What's your thoughts on that? Are you in the same boat I am, or maybe I'm being too hard on them?
I have a pre-investigation questionnaire that if I'm going to do an investigation on my own or with a group, I have a pre-investigation questionnaire that I always talk to the clients about, and I realize that there's something that I learned a long time ago, and I learned it from my dear late friend Andrew Calder, who was an Episcopal priest that I worked with a few times on television and several times in private investigations. And his acronym for this was TAL, and that stands for, as far as clients go, TAL means they all lie. And it's either to not make themselves look bad or it's error by omission. So when you're doing an investigation, and even the pre-investigation questionnaire, you've really got to kind of dig deep and look beyond the obvious and ask compelling questions to where you can really get to the truth about what's going on. And I think too many investigators are too quick to jump to conclusions and not connect the dots and make hypothetical assumptions that don't necessarily fit with the actual evidence that they've gathered. I tell people, don't write a story. If you go in and you get a voice, that voice may not be little Billy that died in there unless he says, "Hi, my name is Billy and I'm a ghost."
Yeah.
You can't jump to a conclusion. Oh, well, we got, the evil man that's in the space. This is his voice. That's just state the fact. I got what sounds like a child's voice, and it might be Billy, but it might not be, or it might not be the grumpy old man, or you just state the facts. It's like on the old Dragnet, just the facts, ma'am, just the facts. So you just give the facts and don't create a story or that sort of fits the narrative. You don't create a narrative that isn't just based on fact. And as far as pareidolia and matrixing and orbs and things like that, I actually want to pull what limited amount of hair I have out by the roots when I see some pictures. So I've actually stopped even looking at photographs. If people send me a photograph, I won't even look at it anymore. Yeah. And I think a lot of my colleagues who've been in the business, so to speak, for a lot of years are in that same boat, because people will say, you'll tell them, it's pareidolia, or you'll tell them that it's matrixing, or it's orbs are basically environmental contaminants like moisture or dust or pollen or flying insects or whatever. And they'll, no, my photograph is different.
Yeah.
No, actually your photograph isn't different.
Yeah.
It's a photograph or a video, unless you've got other substantive evidence to go along with it, you've just got what may be a cool photo.
That's exactly the point that I've said for years. Where's the follow-up evidence to support your theory? You just can't.
And people will still argue with you. I saw a photograph the other day, and it was of a mobile home or a prefab house where a woman on the website that I was looking at said that that's where her, I believe, grandfather lived. And, there were was very evident that was either pollen or moisture or dust. There were dozens of round orb-like things in this picture. And the number of people that were saying, oh, the picture was taken right after he died. Oh, that's the angels coming to get him. Or he had a family reunion. And I'm like,
wow.
For the love of God, people, it's dust.
Yeah,
there's not 30. I counted the number of orbs, it's like 30 something. And I'm like, there are not 36 people probably coming to be in your photograph as an orb to welcome Grandpa across the veil. It's not happening.
Yeah, because I've seen those same pictures like that. And I'll say, let me pop some Claritin and I'll show up. Why are you popping Claritin? Because that's a lot of pollen.
Do this. Get a flashlight and shine it in that area where you're shooting, and you will see that in that flashlight there's all kinds of dust or something, pollen, whatever, flying around in the beam of that flashlight.
Well, I'm sure you'll agree with me a lot of it. Chip, is Occam's razor. The most obvious answer is usually the correct one.
And the most obvious answer is it ain't a ghost.
Unless it's something.
Oh, it's definitely not a ghost.
Something absolutely just undeniable. Like you have Billy coming out to not only talk to you on the video, but you have him doing the Watusi on video going, hey, I'm Billy and I'm dead. Look at me go. Until you get that, you need just be skeptical. You have to be your hardest critic on your evidence before you give it to anybody. And
here's the reality of it. We don't know what we don't know.
No.
All we're doing is throwing out hypothesis, and hopefully we're throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping something will stick. And the reality is that, we do sometimes connect dots, and it's beautiful when we can connect dots. Hey, I went into an investigation on Kindred recently where it was at an old kind of an asylum, and, there was something in there that was kind of making itself known in a kind of what appeared to be a possibly threatening way. And they found a wooden leg, an old-fashioned, way back in the day, handmade wooden leg that somebody had worn in that facility. And, I did a read on that and what was going on around it. And one of the things I said was, do you guys know anything about a carnival? And they're like, no, we haven't known anything about a carnival. And I was like, and there's something about, this is a peg leg. And I gave a couple of other things that were associated with that. And when the dots connected, the man who belonged to that prosthetic leg was a man who they found out his name was Harold something or other. And when they told me they had found out new information, I said, it is this man, and I'm getting that his name starts with an H like Henry or Harold, and his name was Harry. I think it was Harry, not Harold. It was Harry, and I said Henry or Harold. And, I mean, that's close enough. And I also got validation that he had left this facility at some point in time to go out and work at a carnival, work with the carnival circuit. And, you know, when those sort of things come up, you know, that's when you're connecting some evidentiary dots.
Yeah, exactly. You have more than one piece of evidence to draw your conclusion at that point. There's you.
And the interesting thing about it is his nickname, when I said Peg Leg, his nickname was Uncle Peg.
Wow. So you nailed that, but you're able to get the collaborating evidence to go right along with it. And that's how it should be done.
And that's what we do on Kindred. We aren't, and I appreciate that Amy and Adam investigate that way. They use my information, but they use it as a guideline to evaluate what's going on a little better, or substantiate what's going on, or to guide them in a direction that they may not have already gone in, so that they hopefully can come back and corroborate what I've said.
Exactly. Unfortunately, we have to run a break. We come back, though. We will get your texts. There's a big backlog of texts. People have questions for you, Chip. And we'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere.
Hi, Tom Bodette. If you can hear me, then you have an internet connection, which means you can do cool things online, like listen to streaming radio, obviously, or watch a video of a monkey washing a cat. Let your freak flag fly. Or you can book a room at a great price at Motel6.com. Isn't the internet wonderful? Everything you want right at your fingertips, and whoa, did not need to see that. I'm Tom Bodette for Motel 6, and we'll leave the light on for you.
Unexpected reactions to smart financial decisions, brought to you by feedthepig.org.
Well, I finally did it. My student loan is totally paid off.
I can't believe it.
I can't believe it either. I paid more than the minimum each month, and soon enough, it was gone.
So you're just giving up?
Giving up on what?
The life of luxury. Egyptian cotton, caviar Thursdays, designer everything.
What are you talking about?
Our plan. What happened to winning the lottery and mastering the art of the perfect mimosa? Hosting galas, wearing enough jewelry to require a bodyguard, vacationing in the French Riviera, and then buying it.
I just thought maybe it was time to prepare for my future. You know, set some financial goals, make some smart investments, open a 401k.
Financial goals? Investments? A 401k? You are horrifying right now. Listen, if winning the lottery were easy, everyone would do it.
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
Northern Tool and Equipment.
So me and the boys head out to tailgate today and find some other fans in our spot.
Well, it happens.
Cheering for the wrong team.
Oh, this is war.
Even worse, they've got this couch set up and everything.
A couch?
Yeah, it's sectional.
All right, first thing, don't ever use the word sectional again.
Done.
Second, I want you to grab a 4,700-pound tow chain with J-hook and grab hammer. Throw that on the back of your truck.
Got it.
Now you're going to Hail Mary the J-hook over the end of that couch. Time to find a better spot for your new friends.
That should do it.
There's no problem a little horsepower can't solve. Northern Tool and Equipment.
Taking a family of 5 to the amusement park can cost a small fortune.
Oh, yeah. So to save some money, we thought, hey, let's bring the amusement park to us.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right. Step right up, young man. Are you ready to ride the wacky waterfall?
That's just the bathtub with the shower head running.
Nope, it's the wacky waterfall.
It's a shower, Dad.
Waterfall.
Wacky.
There's an easier way to save. To get a free rate quote, go to geico.com. Then buy online, over the phone, or at your local Geico office.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin Street? Girlin Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to After Hours AM. I'm your host, Joelster. Just right along with me is Mr. Michael O'Neill. I did promise to get your texts. One of the questions is really an interesting one. It's about grieving, Chip. When someone dies and they're on this spiritual journey, can somebody grieve so hard that it stops that individual that needs to move on from moving on? Like, can it stop the dead from moving on properly?
I don't know that I believe it stops them from moving on. I think that what grief can do is, if those people are wanting to communicate with their loved ones, that it can be a barrier, and the loved one simply cannot break through that barrier of intense grief. And grief is not meant to go on in its original form forever. Grief is a process that you can't get over or under. You've just got to get through. And, your grief should lessen as time goes by. That's the way grief ideally should work. Not necessarily on a time frame, but if you're grieving as heavily as you were a year after a person dies as you were the day they died, then something is wrong. And you need to go to see a grief counselor. But the answer to that question is I don't think that can hold them back unless that spirit really has a problem and really feels like they can't leave. But the reality of it is, if your intense grief is that intense, you need to get some help with that grief.
So it's more of the living's problem than necessarily the dead's. Like, it's not going to stop them.
I mean, if you feel like they can't move on because they're seeing what intense grief you're going through, then wouldn't your idea to say, I really want them to kind of, as we say, rest in peace, so to speak, and do something to help them with that journey? I mean, it just makes good sense to me to say, if your belief system says you could possibly be holding them back because they're so concerned about your mental health and your grief, then you should do something to help yourself deal with the grief.
Yeah. That's just good all around advice.
It's not psychic stuff. It's actually psychology stuff.
Yeah, I think you're dead on with that one. Next one, Chip. I noticed that all of these got. Oh, by the way, they said, Chip, great shows. I love you. I saw you live. You're truly talented. Thank you so much for helping all the people that you do. That being said, when you encounter a spirit that's inhabiting, let's just say, a dilapidated home, does that spirit get bored? Does it know it's in this dilapidated home? I have a fear of that's going to happen to me when I die. I'm going to be stuck in this darn apartment the rest of my existence. Or are they free to leave and then come back?
All right. The vast majority of people who die, when you die, your soul leaves your body. And you've got a choice. Are you going to continue on and complete your transition into the spirit realm? Or are you going to hang out on this plane, in the third dimension plane? The vast souls that I have encountered in my many years of working in this arena have completed their transition. I have encountered a small number of earthbound or nomadic spirits who are, for whatever reason, refusing to finish their transition. So the other thing that you've got to take into consideration is you go into a dilapidated house or whatever, any place that's reportedly haunted, and most places are. Most people tend to think that the spirits they encounter there have to have some tie or some connection to that location, that specific location. And lots of them may, but spirits don't have bodies. You could have somebody from 2 or 3 miles away, or somebody from another continent float in there. It doesn't have to be anyone that has any attachment whatsoever with that specific location. Here's an example. My mom died in a hospice center, an inpatient hospice center. I don't choose to think, and I know it's not true, that my mother's soul is still roaming the halls of that hospice center. That would really distress me. My mother's free to go wherever the heck she wants to be. She showed up in Australia when I was there. I mean, so don't automatically assume that your loved one is in any way bound or 99% of the time, 99.9% of the time, they are certainly not bound to any specific location.
Mm-hmm. Good. Really, again, you're right on point. That's exactly what I believe as well. 110%. Next text really quickly, and we'll only do one or two more, and we're going to get back to the interview. Chip, I have to ask, are cemeteries, in your opinion, any more haunted than anywhere else?
No. And if I was a dead person, why the hell would I want to haunt a cemetery?
Right.
I mean, really? Why am I going to hang out in a cemetery? Here's the deal. You're going in and looking for them, so that's your intent. So what you're doing is you're going in going, here, little ghosty, 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 and any little ghosts that want to communicate with you at that point in time, I go, look at these fools wandering around in a cemetery. All right, we'll go talk to them.
Yeah, exactly.
Or if you go to a specific grave and you go, there's Fred Smith, and I'm going to try to call up Fred Smith. And if Fred Smith's in the mood to come and communicate with you, Fred may do it. But I don't think Fred's just necessarily hanging out there just for S&Gs.
So you could be in your living room and get the same result if you're contacting Fred Smith. Because if you're doing the call out, he's going to come find you.
Hello.
Gotcha. Yeah. It makes perfect sense to me. Next one. This is Tiffany. She says, my child is exhibiting psychic ability. What is the best way to calm their nerves? She is having nightmares and it seems to be bombarded with her ability. What's the best? I don't want to stifle her ability, but I also don't want her to be scared. Any advice?
There's this wonderful book written by this guy named Chip Coffey, and it's called Growing Up Psychic. It's part autobiography, and it's part how-to book. It's a great resource for anyone who is helping to raise a potentially psychic kid, and it's also very cathartic for those who grew up as a psychic kid and felt like they were misunderstood. So the book is my book, shameless self-promotion, called Growing Up Psychic, Amazon.com. On my website, you can get a signed copy if you want it, and that's a good jumping off point. Here's what I would say. Just be a good parent. Part of being a parent to a psychic kid is just the normal parenting, good parenting skills. Love your kid, listen to your kid, respect your kid, protect your kid. And here's probably the most important piece of advice. Don't encourage that child. Let it happen sort of authentically.
Yeah.
And also don't make any more of a big deal of it than you should. It's if you make it a big deal, it's going to be a big deal. My parents did not make my abilities a big deal at all. They just kind of let me go on my own and do what I needed to do, and they were there to support me when I needed their support.
I got a personal story for you, Chip, and I just like your opinion. My daughter is 5, right? And my dad died of cancer, unfortunately, when she was 1 year old.
I'm sorry.
I know, and we miss him every day, but that's another story altogether. I would say about a year ago, she came up to me out of the blue and started telling me about this guy that she saw in her room that had come to talk with her and be there with her, and she started talking about. I thought it was her vivid imagination, but she said, "Yeah, he's wearing this red plaid shirt, and he wore these certain pants, and he had this this way of his hair." My dad, when she only knew him, when she saw a picture of him on the wall, is wearing something completely different and doesn't look that way anymore. She was describing him when he was, I would say, in his early 30s, because she had mentioned, back in the day, the big old mustache, because that was the big thing back in the early 80s. Does it seem, are children more open anyway than the rest of us? Maybe because their minds aren't clouded yet to receiving a visit?
And no. Yes and no. And I'll tell you why. If you've got a 5-year-old, lots of times everything is so much bigger, and imagination, you have to take into account that imagination and manipulation can come into play. And, I ask parents all the time when they say, my kid's having a ghost and the ghost is harassing my kid. How does your kid know it's a ghost, first of all? What's in your house? The first thing I do when I go into a house is I look at the bookshelf and I look at the DVDs.
Yeah.
And if they've got every book that's written on parapsychology and ghost hunting And I lots of times I'll say, turn on your TV and I'll look at what's on their list of shows to watch. So if they're very into this and talking about it all the time, their kids are predisposed already to spooky stuff. So your child very well may be a psychic kid, very well may be getting information. As long as your child isn't afraid of it, and if the child is, you deal with those fears. But as long as your child is picking up that stuff, again, don't encourage it. Just listen and go, oh, wow, that's really cool. That's really cool. Now, I will tell you this. You said that she's seeing your father as he may have appeared years ago. Yeah. Lots of times they'll do a little post-mortem plastic surgery on themselves and not show up as they did when they were older and sicker, perhaps. They'll show up as they did in their prime. We've actually had, on one of the cases in Kindred Spirits that has not aired yet, but we actually had a soul show up, lived in this location as a child, and then went away and lived into adulthood. But the way that soul was manifesting itself was as a child, the way that it appeared when it was living in this space.
Gotcha. That makes sense because it went back to what it knew in that space.
Correct. So I would say with your child, just, oh yeah, that's really kind of cool. That that could possibly be Grandpa just coming back to check in on you and show you that he loves you.
Yeah. And thankfully, I don't want to say thankfully, but thankfully for me, because it made my wheels spin. It was a kind of a one and done thing. She kind of went about her little life and never brought it up again. But it was so vivid, her description, that it did make me pause. And I do a really good job of insulating my kids from the paranormal. I really don't watch a lot of shows they're on, and when I do have to do research, it's in my office away from them, because I figure they're kids. They don't need to know all that. If they get into it, that's on them. If they have an interest, it'll happen organically. I don't want to be the reason why there's an interest.
Let me just tell you this, though, my friend. Kids are sponges. When you think they're not listening, or you think they...
You're absolutely correct.
They're
are
ghosts
sponges.
Everywhere. Scooby-Doo. They're watching stuff. They're talking to their friends. They're at a friend's house. Whatever. If a child... Here's the deal. We are born... Let's talk psychology again. We are born with only two fears. And some people say, oh, it's a fear of this or this or this. No. Stop. Full stop. Pump the brakes. We are born with two fears, and two fears only. Everything else is a learned fear. We're afraid of being dropped or falling. A baby will tense up if you start to try to drop a baby. A baby will tense up because it doesn't want to be harmed. That's a born with fear. The other fear is fear of loud noises. If you make a really loud noise, the baby is going to react and freak out. Mm-hmm. Those are the two fears. Some people say, oh, fear of the dark. Nope. Baby's not afraid of the dark. Babies are born with two fears. Fear of loud noises, fear of being dropped, or fear of falling. Everything else is learned. So if your child is saying, there's a ghost in my room, that child has not just heard the word ghost in her head, chances are. That child has somehow learned that there's a ghost or a booger or whatever.
Yeah, that makes absolute sense. And you are right. They are sponges, and they're kind of when they like to listen. They like to be in the know.
I get phone calls from parents telling me, "Oh, my child is saying this and this and this and this." First of all, you have to take into account that the child is young. Everything is bigger. Imagination is bigger. So they really aren't fully able to separate fantasy from reality or imagination from reality until they get into adolescence or early adulthood, to completely separate those two. And the other thing is, don't encourage it. Listen to it again and respond to it, but don't become a psychic kid stage parent.
Yeah. No, I'm completely in agreement with that. She has said things in the past like that, but that was the most poignant moment. That was the most one right in your face. But We just mainly
and
just let her...
absolutely, maybe your dad was coming back through your child.
Yeah.
You want to be read for a minute?
Absolutely, I do, Chip.
Okay, here's the deal. You may think that you've adequately dealt with the loss of your father, but I call BS on that.
You're absolutely right.
I think you're holding on to a whole lot of stuff. And I think that your father has probably, I would venture to say that you've probably dreamt about your father or had a sleep state visit, correct?
I do a lot. To be honest with you, I do a lot, and they're so vivid.
Hello? So you've had a sleep state visit from your dad, is that correct?
Yes, several times, in fact.
Okay, so interesting to note that, again, as soon as we started talking about your dad, the phone glitched out on me again.
Yeah. It did. I noticed that.
To note. So I would venture to guess, you said it's been several years since your dad passed.
Yeah.
I would venture to say that you've had very limited other contact with him except sleep state. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. That's because your grief is a barrier and he can't get through to you. So how did he find to do it? He did it through your child.
That would make sense. That would make sense. We were very close, as everyone is, most people are with their parents. And it was, cancer is a horrible thing. And watching and going through that with him was very hard. I appreciate that, Chip. I appreciate that bit of a reading. You don't know how well that does for me.
Well, and the other thing is, as I said earlier, coming to us in our sleep state, there's a difference between a dream and a sleep state visit. Dreams feel a little unreal and disjointed, but a sleep state visitation feels very authentic. Here's an example of one that I had. On the 3rd anniversary of my mom's death, I was sleeping, and all of a sudden I found myself in a nondescript kind of dim location that was kind of foggy. And there stood my mom. And I went, "Oh my gosh, hi." And she said, "Hello." And she said, "I've got a surprise for you." And I said, "Really? What?" And she stepped aside, and from behind my mother stepped her mother, my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, who had died a few years before my mom did. So my grandmother had been gone probably 7 years or 8 years by this point in time. And my grandmother, I looked at my grandmother, and in my sleep state, I say dream, quote unquote, I started to cry when I saw her. And we walked up to each other and wrapped our arms around each other. And I was crying my eyes out. And I said, "Oh my God, it is so good to see you. I love you so much." She said, "It's good to see you too. And I love you too." And I woke up and I was crying, Chip, in the 3rd dimension. Not in my sleep. I was crying, and I knew it was more than that, guys, and I'm getting emotional now, but I knew it was more than that because, believe it or not, tactily, I could still feel my grandmother's hug on my skin.
Oh, wow, man. That is amazing. I do know the visits I have had with my dad are very much, they're just so vivid that you just can't shake them.
Very vivid.
It bothers you like the next day, like, wow, was that a dream? Was that real? And being a radio host, we've heard every story under the sun, but we kind of do a good job of separating ourselves from what we're reporting, right? Like, oh, okay, well, that's that person's story until you live it. And then you totally get it. Like, okay, now I know why they reached out. Now I know why they're so shaken up. Now I know. And that's the kind of moment I was faced with. Because I've been doing the show a long time with a lot of different people coming on to talk about those things, but I never lived it until recently, in the last few years, and it opened me up to having a better understanding about what they're going through when that does happen.
Okay, I'm back to your dad again because he's knocking on my door again. So sorry about this, but I'm going to do it anyway. Did your dad have problems with his feet and legs?
He did.
Are you having problems with your feet and legs?
Nope, I'm in good shape.
Okay. You're not diabetic, are you?
No.
Okay. Was he diabetic?
No.
Is there somebody in your life that's diabetic who's having problems with their feet and legs?
Yeah. Yeah, there would be. It's actually a friend of mine.
I'm getting feet and leg stuff, and if it's not you, there's something with feet and legs. And I'm supposed to tell someone who's having trouble with their feet and legs that they need to take really good care of that.
Okay. I know who you're talking about, and I'll pass that along to them.
Okay. All right. If he says anything else to me, I'll just let it. I'll let it go. I mean, I'll give it to you.
Well, I appreciate that, Chip. I do, and you weren't coming on to do a reading, and I do appreciate you doing that for me, and that gives me.
Well, you know, he started knocking on my door, and notice I asked you permission to say, "Do you want to hear what I'm saying?"
Yes, you did, and not many do that, and. You know, Chip, to be honest with you, this is the first time that a psychic on the air has not told me I'm going to be rich and famous beyond my ever wild belief. So I'm glad it was that. Not
well, and
he can tell that to me anytime he wants.
Well, if either of you gets rich and famous, please do me a favor and remember that I live in Georgia and I am very adoptable, so you can adopt a much older child.
The check will be
Chip,
in the
I would
mail.
adopt you even if I didn't become rich and famous.
Well, I appreciate this, but I do have a standard. And I want to live in opulent luxury, you know. And
if I don't drive a BMW, you're just not interested.
No, you know what? I'm one of those people that, you know, people sometimes think that if you're on television, you've got, you know, a crap load of money, and that's certainly not true. And when you're dealing with the paranormal stuff, and yes, I charge a sizable amount of money for the readings that I do, because I want each reading to be special, and I don't want people calling me 25 times a month saying, "What color dress should I wear today for my review?"
Yeah, no.
You know, I don't want to be that kind of psychic or medium. So that being said, all I ever asked for as far as wealth goes is that I was able to pay my bills, eat and live indoors, which I've, you know, those are habits that I've kind of become accustomed to. And, you know, have a little money extra so I really don't have to worry about money anymore. And I've worked my butt off, and I'm proud to say that I've reached a point to where I can exhale when it comes to not having to constantly worry about finances.
Yeah.
And, you know, I never wanted to be Oprah rich, and I still don't. You know, I just wanted to be to the point where I could not have to hold my breath a lot of the time and wonder if I was going to be able to pay my bills.
Have a level of comfort in your life that, you know, where the worry isn't there. And you know, I'm a firm believer in that people should be compensated for the talents they possess. And that's no different.
Well, and then there are those people that say, oh, if you've got a gift or an ability, you shouldn't take money for it. Well, you know what? Singers have a God-given gift, and actors, and some athletes. I mean, they may train, and I mean, I've studied too. I've sat in psychic circles and had, you know, I incorporate my psychology training into the work that I do. I can't separate that out. But, you know, why is it that those who perform a service, no matter what it is, why are people so condemning of those? Some people are condemning of those of us who use our skills to earn a living. You know, I just tell people to MYOB, mind your own business.
And that's so true. I mean, it's like a radio host. I wouldn't do that for free. you know, that whole thing.
Well, I'm not a prostitute like I used to be, for God's sake.
That's the red light district.
I just thought I'd throw that in. If anybody knows me, they'll know that there are people rolling on the floor right now when I say that. I could have said porn star, but I didn't.
Well, we
admire your restraint, Chip.
That's right. We do. Well, I cannot believe this hour has flown by so fast. And the best way to get a hold of you, Chip, if they do want a reading, is through your website. Am I correct, sir?
ChipCoffey.com, ChipCoffey.com. Shameless plug again, Kindred Spirits, Friday nights at 9 Eastern, 8 Central on Travel Channel. Turn it on, watch it, tell all your friends and family that it's on, and, you know, help us get renewed for another season, kids.
I think that's in the bag, man. I really do. It's a great show. Check it out. It's a good watch. It's a refreshing watch. I kind of call it the refuge from the craziness when you go to Kindred Spirits. So it's something away from the whole. Did you hear that? come get me, damn you, you know, that whole thing. So, you know, it's kind of that refreshing thing. Chip, again, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Gentlemen, it has been my honor and my pleasure. You guys have a wonderful evening. And Michael, you were very quiet this evening, but I still love you.
I love you too, Chip. We'll talk later.
All right, guys. Thank you again. Good night, everybody. I enjoyed it.
Oh, thank you, sir. It's been a great show, guys. Take care of each other, love each other, and look up chipcoffey.com. You will not be disappointed. Till next time, guys, you know, check it all out. After Hours AM is a production of Midwest Productions. Please like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. And please visit www.americas-most-haunted.com.